Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do a commentary on a video I saw on Facebook. It is titled, "Is it my fault for not caring that my wife is having an affair?" And I'm going to make a commentary on this because it reminded me of a man that I met who went through the same exact thing, but couldn't understand for the life of him why she would not come back to fix the relationship. So let's go ahead and watch.
Is it my fault for not caring that my wife is having an affair? I'm a 29-year-old man. My wife, she is also 29 years old, and we have been together for 7 years. 5 years of that being married. Now, about 2 years ago, my wife started having an affair, and I was pretty much aware of the affair since it started. Now, 2 years ago, I ain't gonna act like our marriage is peaches and creams, and I can't believe she would do such a thing. I can't lie. I was pretty complacent at that time and not really putting much effort into our marriage. Now,
you see how he said that the man telling the story is telling the story of somebody else's marriage, that he was pretty much complacent, didn't really care, he wasn't putting any effort into the marriage. And what bothers me so much about this is that men always say it's women who don't want to put any effort into the relationship once they get the ring, right? But we don't ever talk about how men get super complacent, apathetic, and put absolutely no time into their marriage. They think once they get married, they have the woman that cooks and cleans and maybe goes 50-50. And that means, you know, it's time to relax. It's time to just sit on the couch or focus on work or whatever else and not even think about their wife's needs.
That's no excuse for her because she had her own issues with communication and intimacy. But I'm just saying, I was no saint through this whole altercation. I was working from home since COVID started, and my wife worked as a secretary for about 3 years. Now, the reason I knew about the affair is because I have all of our everything logged into everything, even on my work computer. I have all our emails, text messages, photos, social media, you name it. So I was aware of the affair since it started. I was pretty much reading it on a daily basis. I even seen when it became a physical affair after 4 weeks of just talking. Now,
I think it's interesting that he knew and he didn't confront her about it. And I think it's because his complacency. He knew that there was going to be somebody else taking care of what he wasn't willing to take care of. So he just laid back and relaxed. And now we're going to see how it's going to bite him in the ass.
The reason I really knew that something was wrong is because when I saw all this, I felt nothing about it. I wasn't mad. I wasn't angry. it was just nothing. I was indifferent. At my worst, all I felt was a little embarrassed. So that's how I knew this marriage was dead. So I started looking into lawyers, and I was
yeah, that's very concerning that you feel absolutely nothing. Number one, because it's not safe. You never know what kind of person this woman is dealing with. But the fact that you didn't care and you didn't feel nothing means that your foot was already out the door. That's wild. And, you know, they always like to say men don't file for divorce. But a lot of the times it's because they know that they could get their cake and eat it too. But in this case, I really genuinely feel like he just looked at her like an accessory, somebody that was just hanging around, a ghost in the house. And he was going to get to his divorce when he felt like it versus when he knew the relationship was over.
Thinking, hey, we could just divorce and this would be easy. Easy, clean break. Nah, this is where the crazy part comes in. When the affair kind of started, it was just an emotional thing. It was just, you know, talking, getting to know each other. And honestly, she didn't seem happy, but she seemed a lot less sad. Now, after the affair got physical, she came to my office that Saturday. That Saturday after they first got physical, she came to my office that weekend. And she asked me to go on a hike.
So she didn't seem happy, but she did seem a lot less sad, according to this video. And we're gonna see what else this man has to say about the story.
And I was thinking to myself, great. this is the perfect moment where I burst that little bubble, letting you know all that I know and file for divorce. But I decided, let's just go on this picnic. Let me not do that. And let me actually get up, go on the picnic. Because maybe she wants to tell me about what she's been doing and ask for her a divorce herself. So I went on the picnic, and to my surprise, she didn't say anything about the affair. We actually had a really good time. It was nice. It was cool. So I chalked it up as, hey, one more good memory before we end it all. Well, later that week, she ended up asking me on another date. She opened up to me about her feelings a little bit more. She didn't tell me about the affair, but she opened up to me about her feelings. And we had a little bit of intimacy. We did the do. So I'm thinking,
I think that's really interesting that they had a good time. Again, I think that he was looking at her like a friend at this point, like just a roommate. And that's why he wasn't really affected by it. But the fact that she had to peel him out of his bedroom or his desktop to go and do something says a lot. It says that this man is lazy and he hasn't been trying for a long time. And he's really kind of relying on his wife to make the first step instead of being the leader in his marriage and going ahead and fixing it instead of putting in the effort. He wants her to put in the effort. So that's why he got up. He gives me the chase me vibes. He gives me the I'm the princess, I'm the prize vibes. But let's continue.
She is trying to improve our marriage. And that lit a fire under me. And I'm thinking, hey, maybe we can work this thing out. Now, the affair was still going on. But I thought to myself, it really don't bother me that much. And I really do still love my wife. So I just sweep it under the rug that she's having an affair and forget about divorcing her and try to work this thing out. I ended up reconnecting with some of my old friends. I ended up cleaning up some of the old gym equipment that way I can get back in our home gym and I can get back right. I can start trying in my marriage. I know it's hard to believe, but those early weeks when she started having an affair was actually good for our marriage. Things started getting better between me and her. Now, the affair went on for 2 years, like I said. And I rarely even check their messages now. I just check.
That also gives me the vibes that the man in this relationship is up for competition. Knowing that he's competing with another man, and also scientifically, if a woman is involved with another man, for some reason, the pheromones or whatever chemical they expel when they're with someone else, the main partner or the other person that they're dealing with will get aroused and it will spark this desire for their woman, which is really interesting how the human body works. But yeah, it still gives me you need to chase me vibes. And why should your wife be the only one wanting to improve the relationship? And I understand that, infidelity is something that's wrong, especially if you're in a monogamous marriage. But I also understand that sometimes when people get in affairs, that does spark a passion. It ignites something in them. It makes them feel alive again. It makes them feel lively. And so they're more excited to live life. They're more excited to do life with the person that they're actually with. Do I think it's wrong? Yes. If you're in a monogamous marriage, I think it's wrong. But I see why that happens. When you're in a stale, dead marriage and then you get some excitement outside of it, it can create this aura of intensity and vibrancy in your life. It almost brings some color into your world. And it also helps you look at things in a more, logical way. Because maybe this person that you're seeing on the side doesn't have what the person that you're with, who you live with, who you're married to, doesn't have. Maybe your partner has these qualities that you really appreciate that the person on the side doesn't have. And so that's what sparks your interest back into your partner. Again, do I think it's right? No, especially if you're monogamous.
it sometimes to see if it was still going. But other than that, me and my wife have regular outings every other weekend. We have date night on Thursdays, and we have regular intimacy and talks. Things are good. We are in a really solid place up until 2 days ago. 2 days ago, I noticed that she had been having really long talks with one of her close friends. So I asked her about it. They was talking really long and really often. So I was like, hey, what's going on? Turns
it's
out
kind of funny that the affair kept going and he just let it slide. Again, I think that something about feeling like he was in a dating competition was what sparked his interest back into his wife. It wasn't only just that she was putting in the effort. It was knowing that there was someone that was interested in her and that she wasn't as available as she used to be. Because if you're going on dates with someone else, you're not going to be at home all the time cooking and cleaning behind a grown-ass man. But the fact that that's what it took for him to dust the gym equipment to take care of himself, again, it tells me he's complacent. And we never talk about how men get lazy in marriages. It happens all the time. But we always put the blame on women. And then when the man goes and has an affair, it's, oh, she's gained too much weight, or she's too busy with the kids, or whatever else. And we don't look at the fact that, you know, sometimes women lose sight of their marriage, and the most important thing becomes their kids or their job or anything else, their other families, whatever the case is. But we never talk about how in marriages there's so many rough and dry spots that sometimes get ignited and get cleared up by someone else being in the picture. I don't think it's right, but it happens really often, but we act like it doesn't. It's freaking weird, but it happens all the time in marriages.
Close friend husband cheated on him. That close friend husband was having an affair, and my wife was there to comfort her friend. Now, this wouldn't have been a problem. This wouldn't have been a problem at all. However, my wife started bashing the husband for having an affair. Now, I don't know why it came out, but it came out. And I said, you're one to judge. Well, my wife got real defensive at that, asking me why I said that. And I just tried to apologize and go on about my business. But she kept pressing me. And I told her, well, you're one to judge because I know about your affair. You've been having an affair for the past 2 years. And at first, my wife tried to deny it, which really...
Of course, she's a girl's girl. She's going to have her homegirls back. But I think we don't have enough context of why, you know, this man was having an affair or why there was issues in her friend's relationship. But let's just say that 9 times out of 10, women are going out of their way and fighting tooth and nail to keep their marriages, okay? Especially because a woman's value has been attached to marriage and her ability to have children for so many years. No woman wants to see her marriage fail. But in this story, the wife of the man he's talking about is pretty much saying, hey, what your husband is doing is wrong, that's inappropriate, all that stuff. And the dude in the relationship is like, oh, you that's really rich coming from you. And though I understand, he doesn't really have the full context of the marriage that her friend is in, because maybe she's being very complacent and doesn't give a damn about the marriage, you know? I'm not saying that that's what's happening, but it could be possible. I do not think that infidelity is okay, but this is a reason why a lot of people have affairs. But let's continue.
It made me angry. It made me very angry, because why are you trying to deny this? So I started spitting up the receipts. I started giving her some facts about some of the things that they did. That way it'll ring a bell. And at first, she got angry. But then she burst out crying and told me that I don't care about her. She said that I don't care about her, as if I'm the one having the affair. So that made me even angry, and I started yelling at her, because I'm not the one having the affair. You are. Well, we ended up just arguing all night and going to separate rooms and going to sleep it off. Just to sleep it off. That was 2 days ago. So yesterday, after she slept it off, she woke up early that morning before I even got up.
If you get caught cheating, just admit it. Or if you don't want to admit it, say it wasn't you. Like Shaggy.
To work. Didn't say nothing to me. She woke up before I woke up, went to work. So while she was at work, I checked her and her affair partner's messages. And she broke it off with him. And he was messaging her on everything he could, every app that he knew, and she was blocking him from every.
The reason she became angry is because you knew that the relationship was going downhill. You knew that she was having an affair, and instead of confronting her about it, you decided to keep quiet. And I think that what she really wanted was a man that was willing to fight for her, who wasn't willing to lose her to someone else. And when she saw that you weren't willing to do that, that made her feel like you really didn't care, and that this other man was more qualified for the job, and you were letting him take the opportunity to possibly take her out of this marriage. Do you understand? Like, it's kind of like, you know, someone is capable of doing something to fix something that is broken, and you choose not to, and then you let somebody else do it, and you're sort of taking the credit for what has been happening in this affair, all the good stuff that's coming out of this affair that's being basically, you know, channeled through your girl, through your wife. You're taking advantage of that. You're like, oh, well, she's happy because she's with him, so let me go ahead and take advantage of this happiness she has with him instead of putting in the work to bring her that joy and happiness. Does that make sense? Because now you have to look at that guy and be like, you're the reason why my wife is happy and our relationship is good, instead of I'm the reason why this relationship is good. Does that make sense?
She came home that night, and I went to talk to her, but she stopped me before I could even talk to her and asked me, how could I let this go on for so long? And I told her, well, I really didn't care. She called me a big a-hole, went in our room and locked the door, went to bed. This morning, same thing. Woke up before I could, went to work, came home, didn't say anything to me, locked herself in our bedroom. So I'm thinking to myself, in what bizarre world am I the a-hole in this situation? Is there something that I'm missing that would have me at fault for this situation? Can someone explain to me how any of this makes me the a-hole? If there is a perspective out there that I'm not seeing, please let me know.
All right, so there you have it. The reason she's upset is because you knew this was going on for so long. You were complacent and apathetic towards it. You weren't doing anything to make it right. And you let this man be basically the glue that was keeping you and your wife together. Because her seeing him, the result of her seeing him is a reason why the relationship was getting better. And the competition that was happening between you guys, whether it was, whether you consciously realized that was what was happening, was putting a fire up your ass. And you not realizing that there was a percent of a chance that this guy could have taken her from you, or that she would have ended her marriage for this man, and you didn't do anything about it, made her feel like you didn't care. And you only cared when she was chasing you, when she was putting the effort. She knows at this point that it's not you putting the effort because you love her. It's you putting in the effort because she chased you. She was putting in the effort first, and it made you feel like the prize. It made you feel special. It's It's so twisted because he really believes in his head. He really believes in his head that what he has done isn't wrong. And we talk a lot about on the internet that even scientifically that women cheat for different reasons than men do. Clearly for emotional reasons, to feel alive, to feel loved, to feel special. And men cheat because they just want a different body, which I don't believe it's just that. I feel like men also cheat for emotional reasons, and I also feel like women cheat because they want a new body. But if we're going by what everybody says, right? You knowing that she was emotionally suffering in this relationship, that she was feeling alone, that she was feeling like a freaking roommate, a ghost, and you did nothing about it, and you just allowed this affair to continue instead of... Also, if you're the kind of man that believes in monogamy, or you got in a relationship on the basis of monogamy, and you didn't put your foot down and say, hey, this isn't appropriate, what you're doing is effed up, what you're doing against our marriage is despicable, I want nothing to do with you. She would have respected you more if you were willing to walk away because you weren't happy in this relationship versus you keeping the relationship and letting a man do the hard work for you. That's what she's mad about. She's mad about you letting someone else do the hard work when you could have been doing it yourself. All you did was show up to the dates and dust off your gym equipment, and you thought everything was straight. Because you're not talking about how you've improved in the relationship. You're not talking about what work you've done to keep this marriage together without the side dude. And she blocked the side dude because not only does she feel guilty, but she feels like he's the crutch to the relationship. And now if she eliminates him, she's gonna see what this relationship really is about. And that you are complacent because you absolutely want to be. You don't want to fix this. You rely on other people to fix your problems. She's going to see the truth once that guy is eliminated. Once that guy isn't making her happy, taking her on dates, making her unavailable to you, she's going to see how you're going to act when she's in your face and she doesn't have an outlet to release her emotions to or her sexuality to. She's going to realize you're not it. And you are here on a ride, just seeing where it goes. And though it's cool to go with the flow, when it comes to a marriage, it takes planning, it takes structure, it takes discipline, it takes work. And you're not willing to do it. You're willing to let another man take your place and do the work. And that's what makes her not want to get back together with you. That's what makes her disgusted by you. Yes, maybe you're disgusted by her behavior, but you said you didn't even care. But in other relationships, something like this happens, the man would be disgusted by it. But in your case, you're not disgusted by it. You're just a little bit embarrassed. But embarrassed about what? Embarrassed about what? That she might get caught with this other guy out in the streets and a friend sees her. It's not like you're gonna be the one going out with her and showing her a good time. Do you see the hypocrisy? It's straight up laziness. That's what it is. So y'all tell me what y'all think about this video. What are your opinions on this story? Because I genuinely feel like it makes sense for her to be completely done with her husband at this point. Because for him to know all this and not do anything about it, it says a lot more about him than it does about her. But when it comes to her cheating, she could have just left the marriage. I don't know why she didn't, but maybe she figured this is going to be the rest of my life with this guy. A dude who's just eating his Frito chips on the couch, not giving me any intimacy, ignoring me, and taking me for granted. And instead of getting a divorce, I'd rather just grin and bear it for the next couple of years. All right, you guys, tell me what you think. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll check you out on the next one. Bye.